Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. Liverpool draw 3-3 with Leeds in what was a Premier League classic of the weekend. Liverpool leading 2-0, 2-2, leading 3-2, a late goal by Leeds. That's why we enjoy football from a perspective of just enjoyment. I mean, if you're a Liverpool fan, you're probably not enjoying that. The question is, how much longer will this go on for Liverpool? I mean, the problem that you have is that you're just very, very bad at football when it comes to defending. And I don't know where it's going to get any better for you, because Sunderland at home, you draw. Leeds away, you draw. You've got people like Brighton and Spurs to come, and I just don't think you're good enough to win games at the moment. And yeah, there's lots of mitigating circumstances with Arne Slot and Liverpool, but when is it going to change? And if you're at the board, you've got to look at it and go, what is going to change? When is it going to change? They can't defend Leeds. Like, you score 3 goals away. Again, you can't defend Leeds. You can't, literally Leeds, but your 3 goals scored away and you concede 3 goals. I mean, that's a problem. Defensively, they're an absolute state. And most of it is the problem with the centre-backs. I mean, Konate causes that. That's the straw that breaks the camel's back. If he doesn't slide in there and you don't concede from that moment, I think you go on and win the game. But from the minute that penalty happens, and it's so unnecessary, I think it plants the seeds in the head of Liverpool. They start to panic, and then anything is possible. Because Leeds aren't in the game at 2-0. They're not in it at all. They need a spark, and Konate gives it them. So that needs to be analysed, of course. But from Leeds' point of view, the confidence they're going to take from the last 2 games is huge. Scoring lots of goals against Chelsea and Liverpool means they can score goals against anybody. 4 points from 6, not in the bottom 3 anymore. And what that can do is be a real shot in the arm for Leeds and their hopes of staying in the league. So look, very exciting for Leeds and very, fair play. It takes work. It takes talent, it takes dedication, it takes effort to come back like they did in that game, and nobody can take that away from them. But Liverpool, I would say, huge issues. And look, we've listed it off before. The new signings haven't worked out. Some of the players that were really important last year have dropped off. We've mentioned Konate, Van Dijk. That's been well documented. The players that they've lost in people like Diaz and Trent are a big loss. Robertson obviously isn't playing as much anymore. We've mentioned, obviously, as a player, Jota was a very important player, but also the impact of what happened to him in the summer and the tragedy, how that impacts everything. So, and there are other things as well. So there's a load of reasons why Liverpool might not be the team they were last year, and all valid, and we don't need to argue about what's are the excuses, whatever. The point is, Liverpool aren't the team they were last year. Now, as owners, do you sit there and go, well, this is why we're not the team we were last year? And that's fine. But what I would be saying is, okay, all these things could be reasons. It's nearly Christmas. Are we just going to sit here for the next however long and go, this is why we're crap? Or are we a competitive sports team with a proud history? When is this going to get better? Because all right, let's write off the last 4 months. When's it going to get better then? Because is it just going to stay like this forever? Because it can't. So when is it going to get better? And the problem is, I don't see it getting better. I don't see this getting better. But if I replace the manager and bring a new manager in, and the players respond to that manager, it could get better overnight. And Liverpool need to be in the top 4, and they could still do well in the Champions League and the FA Cup and whatever other tournament they're in. So I think that question is valid. You can keep Slot. And I mentioned this in the watch-along. Pep Guardiola last season was in a similar situation. It was terrible for Man City. They bought some players in January. They got back into the top 4, and now they're back in a title race. So you could look at that and go like that. But Pep Guardiola is very different to Arne Slot. And what if that's not going to happen here? And I always felt with Man City that they would not be that bad for long because they're too good to be that bad. Whereas Liverpool, I think a month ago, I would have said they're too good to be this bad for long. Whereas now I'm looking at them and going, they're not actually getting better. Like the first 5 games of the season that they won, they probably shouldn't have won them. We praised them for it, winning when they're playing badly, but they probably shouldn't have won. They've been bad from day one. They've been bad from the first game of the season, and they're still bad now. So I think the question has to be, and a lot of Liverpool fans don't want Slot to go, but you have to look at it and go, okay, he's not going, and I don't think he is going. But when is it going to get better? And as somebody that looks at these games and analyses them, I can't see patterns of play. I can't see rhythm. I can't see stability. I can't see togetherness. they're failing. Like, even today, you could say, well, they've scored 3 goals. One of them comes from a mistake by Leeds, well taken by Ekitike. The second goal's a good goal, and the third goal's a good goal. But you can't survive on good goals if you can't play together as a team and defend. I mean, you're playing Leeds. You've got a 2-goal lead. You give that up. You get back in front again and you give it up. I mean, like, it's almost like when you make a mistake, you learn from the mistake. Let's not do that again. But Liverpool do it again. And that is a huge issue. Like, they're making the same mistakes again and again, week in, week out. When does that change? Because I think we're past the point of, oh, Brighton next week, they'll win that. I think we're past that now. I think they are in trouble, very, very big. And it's hard to see how it gets better for Liverpool. And they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable for a top 4 place. And they're vulnerable every week. When is this going to stop? Have they got a plan in January and they're just trying to get there? We'll have to wait and see. Get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video. I'll speak to you on the next one. Thanks for watching.